You got to know you got to know this stuff. And so this is part of what the Lord has told me for today. A good percent of you do not know how to speak in tongues, do not understand the baptism of the Holy Spirit at all. And it is very important. You all ask me all the time, how do you see the things you see? How do you go where you go in the Spirit? It is not by praying in English. I get there by praying in tongues, praying in the Holy Ghost. And I do this all the time. I practice praying in the Spirit. I would say, and I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm going to say this, probably 80% of my day, in some way, I'm praying in the Spirit, underneath my breath, driving down the road, out doing yard work, whatever. I've just practiced. It's like lifting weights. I've just learned how to. Now I'm praying for what I'm hearing in my spirit. We're praying over that virus that they were talking about. The Lord was telling me about the 350 million. Now I'm interceding for that, and we're calling forth a divine protection over the righteous. That there is no weapon formed against us that would prosper. I'm praying over Trump now.
Well, that's old Brandon Biggs. The watchman. Remember, you got to call him a watchman or you get attacked by his followers. You can't call him a false prophet, false teacher, and none of that because he's supposed to be this watchman. But as far as I'm concerned, he's a false teacher as well. And we're going to talk about that. And the reason why I wanted to bring him back to the forefront is because I made a short on him maybe 2 years ago now. Or so, and it continues to get little views, but I continue to get comments. Well, it gets a lot of views, I guess, because it shows right up with the video about his prediction, supposedly, of Trump's assassination. And I get comments from people that follow him constantly, every day. And some of these comments are, they're hateful to the core. They're supposed to be from Christian people. And what we're going to look at, we're not going to look at his so-called, as I call it, psychic style predictions. I got a special message for you dealing with psychic stuff in about another week or so. So stay tuned for that. But he's like a psychic. He's like a psychic guy that people look forward to and pay their money to sit there in front to hear what he has to predict next. And as you see, as we're going through these various pictures, the thumbnails as you see this theme. It's always this doom, 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 doom. And it's something about World War III. He's obsessed with World War III and some of this earthquake that's going to shatter everything. And as you even see in here, an article, he's even in a major article as being showcased. What is happening now, I've noticed, is a lot of these false prophets and teachers, or someone even mentioned to me that Amanda Grace was on a Christian radio station here recently. I'm like, are you kidding me? So it shows you how far things have fallen off the cliff. But I'm going to show you right here, some of you that are new, that may have never seen this, we're going to nip this right in the bud right here today, to show you that this guy, I don't care how much smiling him and his wife does. I don't care how much him and his son come on that was filming him, because he's a dad, household, his wife, they're all partaking in being charlatans and grifting. And it's a shame because the son may not really know, because he sounds like, I don't know how he's young, but the wife is partaking because of the goods that's coming in, the moolah, the money. And it's a shame because I want you to see that if he's hearing from God so much, let's look at these clips. Let's look at the first one. The first one is, we're going to look at Chris Reed, the pastor, the Morning Star, that had to resign because of sexual misconduct. Let's look at him real quick talking.
Former President Trump near a car, getting in or out.
Near a car.
Trying to take.
Now, many people have said, when I shared this, where was the car? Well, as you know, I saw a part, you saw a part. That's why when we bring our parts together,
and make it
a picture. I think you said it in one of your most recent broadcasts, because I watch you regularly. You made an interesting, you made an interesting statement. You said, I have a piece of the puzzle. You have a piece of the puzzle. Here is the car that I was talking about. It was about 10 to 15 feet.
Now that's them talking a few years back, a couple years ago, before that pastor got in trouble. He got in trouble and had to resign because he wasn't honest with the board, and he had kissed the woman and was involved, in some kind of way with that and lying about stuff or whatever. But it was this sexual misconduct, and he's married. And he ended up resigning, as you see the look on his wife's face when he's resigning, as you see right here. So put that on the shelf right there. Put it right there for you. And now look at the next guy that Brandon Biggs has promoted and talking to. This guy right here is a hateful financial advisor, because when I called him out a few years ago, his hateful comment, it's in my phone somewhere. I have to find it at some point. But the hateful comment he made towards me, I mean, it's funny because this guy's a joke, Bo Polani, or however you say his name. But let's look at him closely. Look at what he's talking about. Bo, this is taking place in 2022. He's making some false prophecy in there about Trump being reinstalled in 2022, the false message that was being promoted back then. And he's calling on the death angel. I want you to pause the video when you see the picture that he puts up talking about these people are going down. And these are the one, calling for the death angel to take these people out. I want you to look at that. Let's look.
What's about to happen is historic. This year, we're going to see silver easily shoot to $60, then go to $140, then go to $600. We're going to see historic price moves for precious metals into next year. Because why? We are heading into the third seal. We're about to witness the third seal of Revelation, the financial rebalancing. The angel of death is coming to visit these people. These people are going down. These people who control the world think that they are pharaohs. The present day pharaohs, soon you shall never see again. This is coming with the greatest wealth transfer in human history. Gold and silver are going to explode in value, giving wealth to the church, to you, so then you can prosper all those around you, because everything when God's kingdom comes in abundance and overflow. All debts, who has credit cards, mortgages, student loans, they will be canceled. Are about to be blessed beyond measure. We are here. We're going to go dark. And when the lights come on, worldwide celebrations are coming. We are going to see the return this year. 45 comes back, not by his will, but by God's will. God's will shall be done. God gets all the glory.
You see that? And it just so happened to be Democratic people and others that did not subscribe to this MAGA train and this denial that they were in at that time that Trump had lost the 2020 election. And so Bo and all of them is a nationalist guy. He hangs around with other nationalists, promotes other nationalists. And why would Brandon Biggs be happy and promote and tell you to subscribe to somebody like that?
Channel's name, Bo, so they can find you. I want them to be able to find you.
Website, again, thank you for allowing me to be here. It's a pleasure to meet you for the first time face-to-face. We have spoken over a year ago, and that was a pleasure. The time I first saw one of your first videos, I got to say, like you said, when you hear the word of the Lord, you know. It comes from the same source.
Why would he tell you? Brandon's made plenty of videos, crypto stuff, all types of, he always tries to put the financial advice. He's been in some mess before about the crypto stuff. And why would he tell you to be involved with somebody calling upon the death angel upon people? And that's not godlike, is it? Is that Christian, having the love of Christ in you? Promoting someone like this? Why would he do that? Well, maybe he thinks like that. That's what it may be. Yeah, he thinks like that because I truly believe he thinks like that because he's a nationalist himself. He supports this stuff. He's a nationalist, and his wife, I don't care, she's part of it too because she's going along with this. And anybody that is sitting in front of their computers, TVs, phones, and continue to subscribe to this from this guy, you subscribe to that same mindset because that means that you agree with that. Now let's bring this message on home. So, this Brandon Biggs claims to hear so much and see so much and taken into all of these visions and all of these various things so much. So you mean to tell me if God has warned you about World War III, that it's coming, that all of this tragedy is going to come, and that an asteroid is just going to hit the earth and blow up and destroy 300, millions of people, and 350 million people are just going to drop dead. And we've got to pray to keep this virus from coming upon people because it's getting ready to be bad. Because and that's another key. We talked about another key, folks, to spot these false teachers and false prophets in them. They always use the word they. They means those that do not subscribe to them and the Democrats. That's what that means, because they support a Christian nationalist mindset takeover, which we will deal with that because I got a special video for you coming up on that as well here soon. So stay tuned. So if he's hearing all of these things, if everything is so in tune, and you're hearing all of the trouble that's going to happen around, you mean to tell me that God did not warn you of, hey, Brandon Biggs, I'm using you in a mighty way to reach, because he wants to reach 1 million people, have 1 million people. That's why we have to stay on him too. He wants to reach massive amounts of people. And this is nothing but deception, being the devil himself. And he wants to reach all of these people. So if God was, God is like, so let's use some rationale here. So you mean to tell me that you would think that God would be thinking like, I'm using you, Brandon. I don't want you to taint your testimony. I don't want you to give the appearance of evil. I don't want none of that. And I'm warning you about Chris Reed, Pastor Chris Reed. You've got to stay away from this guy because he's going to be caught up and wrapped up in a scandal that's going to shame him and shame his family. And he's going to have to resign. And you mean to tell me God is weak and not that powerful and couldn't warn him that when we have plenty of examples in the Bible of the Lord warning of pending danger? Joseph, Abimelech, even Pharaoh. We've had examples of the Lord warnings, sending direct warnings that were clear. And you mean to tell me if you're being used by God like you claim, and you don't hear nothing from God about that, and then you move over to Bo Plonani, a guy that is a false financial advisor and calling for the death angel of people, and you get on video with him and smiling and promoting somebody like that? You mean to tell me that the Lord is so weak and so frail that he could not have warned you and told you, Brandon, you got to get away from these certain types of people. Don't support this. Don't be around him because this guy's a charlatan and it's going to damage you in such a way. You got to stay away. That right there, folks, use some common sense. This is what's frustrating with this thing that's going on, how the devil is stirring up all of the confusion and got the web of deception and scales upon people's eyes. It's frustrating because you would think that folks would just use some common sense. You put 2 and 2 together, that right there should tell you. That should tell you where this guy stands. This guy is a fraud, and it's defrauding people daily. He gets his influence from this Billy Burke guy that you see here. Look at this stuff. This guy, he's nothing but a Benny Hinn style guy. Not as big as Benny. I don't know. I don't follow him like that, but he's big. But these miracle things, all these miracle services, and that's this same Catherine Crick style. There's people running to try to get their miracle from this man. And this teachings of stuff like that. Yes, God still performs miracles. I believe in miracles and things like that, but a pastor, I don't know if he preaches a regular sermons and regular stuff or not, that he just puts himself a name as a pastor and that's it. What is it? That's, healing every single, that you done turned it into full-time healing. That's a bunch of baloney as far as I'm concerned. So that's a whole nother message. So this is who he stands by, these charlatans that have been around, past charlatans, Kenneth Hagin.
You're too drunk? Sing something. Somebody knows what to do with this ticket.
I don't know if I know what to do with it.
The father of the word of faith movement, prosperity, name it, claim it. And this is why you see him sitting there praying for these long sessions, thinking that, okay, we're going to pray for that. And basically he thinks that he can manipulate God and turn God in some kind of way. Just if you have enough faith, if you believe enough, you can turn it. And this is what he's thinking, that he can control God, because that's the type of false teaching that he has been around. This guy's a charlatan, he's a fraud, and he needs to be avoided. And if you continue down this path with a person like that, you're outside of God's will. You are outside of God's will, and you are being disobedient, you're being hard-headed, and you're not going to be where you're supposed to be spiritually, walking down a road with someone like that. And him, his wife, and anybody else that is subscribing to this type of stuff, you're going to have your little heyday. You're going to find yourself in big trouble if you don't repent. It's as plain as simple. And in this channel, we talk about the issues that the church run away from. Tackle Satan and his tactics, punch it right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is the channel. My name is Maurice Braxton. We're going to continue to push forward, regardless of the name calling, regardless of whatever else is going on. We're going to give God the glory, because the devil, you're not going to get the victory here. And we're going to continue to lift him up. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.